Hey, guess what? It's snorkel time. Doing a little bit of an install. They have a very good installation video. This is the Flowmaster cold air intake / snorkel for the JL. They have a very good install video, so I'm not gonna, this isn't like a step-by-step tutorial. Just gonna take you along for the ride. Bit of a multi-step thing for me. I gotta do some tonight, and then when the weather's nice, because it is rainy and crappy out right now, then I gotta cut into the hood, which will be fun. So I don't know, come along with me. I already have a cold air intake on the JL, so I'm gonna end up taking that one off. That's why I wanted the Flowmaster. I wanted the cold air intake and the snorkel, so I get to keep that. So I'll take that off and probably, you know, sell it or something after this. But yeah, let's go on this little snorkel adventure and see where it takes us. All right, so first things first, so I got kind of everything here. It's a solid piece tube, Airbox intake tube. Got the flex pieces, the filter adapter. These are the brackets for the side and for the A-pillar. And you got your screen for the intake snorkel. I got some drill bits and a riveter because we have to do some riveting for this. And then you have all the gaskets, and there's a template for cutting the hood, which we'll use whenever we get to that when the weather's better. So I'm just going to do some stuff basically assembling these pieces so that by the time the weather is nice, I can just focus on attaching the brackets and cutting the hood and installing it. So that's what we're going to do in this part right here. We'll start with this guy. Just get that guy on there like that. Find some screws for it. Alright, we're gonna put these things up here with some long screws and some lock washers. Okay, this thing, you can't really see it. It's pretty much ready to go, so put it off to the side. And now we're gonna take this, and we got to do a little bit of drilling and riveting to get it over here, so we'll do that next. All right, got all my rivets in. So, drill grates installed. All good there. Time to connect the Airbox to the snorkel, and there's like 10 screws that have to go in here. So, same thing, screws, lock washers, washers, gasket between the two, and then get them connected. See, they don't show this part on the install video, where they have like multiple things bracing this. It definitely does not look this hard on the install video. And these gaskets are all over the place. Oh, I got it. I can already tell that the alignment on these holes is off a little bit. Man, getting that first one on was terrible. But we got there. Alright, I didn't want it to come down to this, but I've got lock washers and flat washers and everything. But these last three, I mean, literally, like, the bolt head is right up against the molding. You can't get the washers under there for it to reach the thread unless you, like, carved it out. So I'm cheating on these three. These three right here are just getting bolts. Everything else is getting bolts and washers. And we'll hope for the best. Okay, that's about all I can do today. So I got the Airbox and the Snorkel connected and some of the parts connected and knocked off. I got the grate on the Snorkel. And when I get back to this in a couple days over the weekend or something, it'll be maybe hood and intake time. So if the weather's nice, we'll see. But I'll be back. All right, we're back. It's sunny out, it's nice, but of course it's cold, but it'll do. The sun will warm us up. So we're back on this. Got the Airbox and everything assembled. So today we're gonna do the install. We're gonna take out the K&N cold air intake and then get everything back together. We gotta put a bracket here. We're gonna end up putting a bracket here and getting everything installed. So I think the next step is to get the air intake tube set up and ready to go and prepped, and then we'll take out the existing cold air intake that I have in there, the K&N. Grommet for the sensors gotta go in. It's not going to get tightened completely. I have no idea how this has to be aligned to get to the spots that it needs to be. It's a bit hard to work this on with the clamp still on it, but there's no room to put it anywhere else. There we go. Alright, so everything's kind of prepped basically. And now it's time to take the K&N cold air intake out. By the way, if you don't want a snorkel and you do want a cold air intake, this thing's been awesome. It's got basically the same hole that the stock intake has, but obviously it's got better flow. But we got to get these pieces disconnected and start to loosen stuff up and then pull it out. Alright, next I gotta start working on the bracket stuff. The bracket for the side goes in this bolt, and then there's another hole here. I have a mounting plate for my aux beam switch here, because I'm using this spot right next to the battery for that. I might have to get creative and drill a hole through this, and then maybe cut a little bit of the case out so I can fit the third bolt, because I'm not interested in moving my switch box to do this. So this will be interesting. Alright, new hole there, existing hole there with some room to work with. I'm just going to do that. Stay out of the way of the box. That should work. Alright, so we got a bit of protective film to put here. these things. Starting to get connected. Alright, while it's still loose, we'll see what position we want it in while this is down. I'm assuming pretty much like as far out as it goes, but we'll see. It definitely has clearance, so we're good there. Okay, next we got to do the mount that goes up the A-pillar, and that goes underneath the handle. So we got to pop some stuff off here. Problem solving adventure. The installation instructions have no consideration for this leak-proof item here, which is, I'm assuming, very useful for me to send water down into the door. So I think I might try and cut a hole in here to let it through, so I don't have to get rid of this and it would still keep the channel intact. It's not ideal, but I need this hole, so I gotta take this tape off, and I need to get the bracket under here, but it has to come out through here up on the top part. So this will be interesting. Take out a piece. Okay, so I cut a window here with a little flap. That is the best I could think, because when I get it back in there, I can close it back up. Potentially even tape it with some like electrical tape or Gorilla tape or something to keep it intact. I just wanted to keep this channel here from getting in the way. So this should work. I'm gonna have to install the paint protection a little bit differently. I'm gonna have to just cut it so that it already fits, but I think that'll work. All right. Here, I'll show you what we did. So here's that little cutout that I did. Kept the channel intact. Maybe for good measure I'll throw some Gorilla tape over that or something. But it seemed to work out. So this is on here now. Not gonna lie, this bracket leaked pretty bad. I ended up having to put mastic tape around the edges to keep rain runoff from running inside the Jeep. It was going down inside the bracket and into the footwells. And so far the mastic tape has been working, so I'm crossing my fingers that this will do it. There was one other little paint protection strip here for this bracket, so I got that installed. So this bracket's up here, this one's here. We got rubber grommets down there. So now we're gonna drop the snorkel and the airbox in, and then from there we'll do the intake tube. We gotta get the sensor into the grommet. I actually took this off to make it easier, pushing it through. It's in. Okay, let's get this in. There we go. So here's one fun thing I'm dealing with. So they give you an extension for this. This is fine. You can get an extension, it comes up and goes into the sensor. The quick connect is a rigid tube And I think it's got just enough movement where I think I can get it over here. It doesn't look super clean though, so I'm not thrilled about it, but I'm pretty sure that's my only option. There's no flex in this. I can't like flex it and take it underneath here. Even if I did that, I'm not sure I could get it up to get it in. So I'm not thrilled about that. But I can't see any other way to make it work. I'll connect this first. And then get everything else connected after that, I guess. Alright, we are tightened down everywhere. This thing is connected, albeit not in my most favorite way, but it does work. We got the extension to the sensor there, so everything's good on that, and zip tied so this thing's up and out of the way. So next is the air filter. I really wanted this Delta Force because I had the K&N cold air intake, and I just really still wanted a cold air intake, so it's a little bit of a personal preference for me. Between the cold air intake and my exhaust, I get a really cool sound when I'm on the Jeep's throttle, so I wanted something similar, and Flowmaster is the only one that had a combo. I was looking at the AEV too, but I just ultimately still wanted the intake. Alright. Good. So that is in there. There it is. Okay, the time has come where you have to put a hole in the hood. So, template is in here. So we'll take this out and we'll tape it to the hood, and then we'll see what it looks like while it's taped on, and if it's taped in a good spot, then we'll do some more taping. We're going to go on the inside of the template, and the whole process will be getting this cut and then making small adjustments from there. And even making the first cuts are going to be inside to avoid going too far. And make sure that we like how that lines up. Looks like about a 1/4 inch or so on this side, probably the same on that side, and this is the inside trace, so we'll start there and then keep working our way. Okay, moment of truth. Woo! Okay, so this is my very conservative 1/2 inch to go still hole. I'm going very slow, so I'm gonna get closer now, now that I have some more room to work with, and keep going. I'd say that did a pretty good number on the Dremel. I got more bits, but whew. All right, so I'm still cutting because I'm doing it gradual, but I noticed something, and it's totally cool. I understand why they do it. I'm glad they do it this way, but the template is much smaller than the casing. So this gets you started. I started on the inside, and then I worked my way out to this. Now we're gonna put this up, make sure it feels centered, and you can see the difference right there. I'm gonna mark off a little bit on this side and maybe touch on that side to take off. Okay, I am not done cutting yet, but I am taking it so slow. I'm running out of Dremel discs, so I gotta get more Dremel discs. I'll get it. I'm just very worried about cutting too deep, so it's like 1/16 of an inch at a time. So I'm gonna pack it up for today so I can hang out with the kiddo, and I'll do some more cutting tomorrow and see if I can finish off this capping part. All right, I'm back at it. It's the final step. I got to keep dialing this in so that it fits the trim pieces. I ran out of Dremel discs, so I had to go get some more. Now I'm back at it. So there's really not much to it other than just gradually getting down. So we'll see. Got to make it work, right? All right, we are cut to a good spot. So now it's time. I'm gonna take the tape off and clean up the surface, and then we have to do some tape, and then we also have to do some riveting on the inside. Then we're done. So we're real close. All right. It's in there. Doesn't go in easy, I'll tell you that. Slide up in there. So we can rivet, and then we're pretty much done at that point. Alright, one last step. Get the strip for to seal the seam. Alright, we got it in. You'll have to excuse all the shiny metal dust. I haven't taken it to the car wash because I'm still working on it, but there it is. Looking good. Got everything in there. And nice and clean on the inside. This is going to be pretty cool. I think it's an awesome little combo unit. So that's it for this. I will say 3 things I learned on the install. What were they? One was The template is very conservative for the cutout. I had to go probably a ½ an inch further up, and maybe a quarter of an inch further out on both sides. I mean, it was very conservative. So I started inside the lines. I'm still happy I did, but I burned through a ton of Dremel discs trying to get through that thing. Couple of other things. The A-pillar bracket on the newer JLs has to cut through the runoff insulation strip. So that was something to take note of. And the other thing was the quick connect sensor on the inside of the engine. At least on the 21s, I don't know if it was different on the earlier versions, has a rigid tube, and it wasn't perfectly awesome, but I had to lift it over above the other tube to get it to connect. I think it's fine. It's not really stressing it too much. It just doesn't look as clean as in their install video. They had a soft tube that just ran underneath the other one. But all in all, I think it's a really sweet unit, and it wasn't too hard to install. It just took a long time to cut out that snorkel hole, but did it. Everything's good. So thanks for watching the install. If you liked it, hit thumbs up, subscribe, check out Darkside Off-Road if you want for patron stuff and or merch. See you guys.